The Build Up Challenge is back, baby, and I can't be the only one who has missed doing this. I gotta say it, this just feels right. The Build Up Challenge is by far the most popular thing that we do on this channel, and that's because we build computers and then we sell them for a profit, and then we save that profit so that we can eventually get to the point where we build a top-of-the-line, super amazing gaming PC, and then we take that PC and we give it to one of you. I mean, that is like the coolest concept for a series ever. So in season 1, we had started off with a budget of $500 and flipped 22 computers to finally come up with a grand total of $4,132 that we used to build a very beautiful gaming PC that we gave away to one subscriber. And I was trying to figure out what the budget should be for this season, and I was thinking $0. That's right, we are starting this season with $0, and we are going to take that $0 and eventually get to the point where it turns into a top tier gaming PC that's gonna belong to you. And if you're wondering how that is at all possible, well, I flip a ton of computers and I got a lot of stuff just sitting around, and there's a lot of stuff that people have just given me for free when purchasing other items on Facebook Marketplace. Let me show you what I mean. Does anybody remember this Zelman case right here? Well, if you don't worry, it's not a huge deal, but this case had a PC in it, and I ripped it apart and I put it in a brand new case, and I made a bunch of money on it. So I consider this free. You guys ever heard the term girl math? I guess this is like nerd math. And then there's stuff like this. This is a motherboard, CPU, and RAM combo that was given to me for free by somebody that works with me at my full-time job. So, $0. So, motherboard, CPU, RAM, PC case, $0. We also need a graphics card. Well, a couple months ago, I bought a 3070 for one of the builds that we did on this channel, and along with the 3070, he said I could just have this right here. 980 graphics card. Just gave it to me. Said, here you go, it's for you. Awesome. It'll go great with this older build. So now we need to find some storage, and it needs to be cheap, like $0 cheap. And because I need it to be $0 cheap, I do have a ton of these 3.5-inch spinning drives that I've pulled out of previous flips and replaced with NVMEs. So this is gonna work really well with our system. It's just a little 500 gig HDD, but if that's not good enough, I also pull a whole bunch of SATA SSDs out of flips and I replace those with NVMEs, and 512 gig SSD is much better than just running off 3.5-inch hard drives. So with these two together, 1 terabyte of free storage sounds pretty good. So now we're gonna talk about juice. And by juice, I mean power, because none of this is gonna matter if I can't turn this computer on. Now, I have a whole bunch of power supplies sitting around, but I did pay money for that, and we're looking for a $0 power supply. And luckily, I bought a 3060 from somebody a while back, and he had a power supply sitting in his front seat when I was paying for that 3060. And he said I could just have it after I commented asking him what it was. And what it was is this Sigotep 650 watt power supply. It almost looks brand new. And it's gonna go really well with this system because I don't have free cable extensions sitting around, and these don't have ketchup and mustard cables, so yay! And how about some fans? We get a whole bunch of airflow in this case. And, you know, I rip a bunch of these off of AIOs and pull them out of previous systems, and they just sit around. So, yay! Airflow for free. $0, $0, $0. Catching a theme here? Now, the last thing we need is a CPU cooler, and this is actually really funny. You're gonna love this. Hold on. 240 millimeter AIO. 120 millimeter AIO. Another 120 millimeter AIO, actually the exact same 120 millimeter AIO that's in this box. Little white air cooler, a huge Thermalright air cooler, another huge Thermalright air cooler. I'm not kidding you. All of these coolers were free. So this is gonna sound a little bit crazy because I just showed you 6 different CPU coolers that we could use for today's computer, but unfortunately we are only gonna be able to use one of them because the board that we are using today is a Sabertooth X79 motherboard, which is LGA 2011 socket type. Now, all 3 of the AIOs that we have here say that they will fit LGA 2011, but unfortunately I wasn't given any of the mounting hardware needed to fit these to this board. So we are forced to use this air cooler right here. Not the end of the world. This is a massive air cooler. It's gonna look pretty cool in here, but I was bummed out because I really wanted to use one of the 240mm AIOs. So the hardware we're using, it's a little bit older, but we're gonna do the very best that we can with what we have here. And hopefully we get a PC that sells for a decent amount of money so that we know what our starting budget is for the rest of the season, because we can't make another build up challenge episode until we sell this computer and then use the funds from selling this computer to build the next one. So let's not waste any more time. So I think that I have covered pretty much everything, and now I just gotta build it. So let's go do that. Usually after I finish building the computer, that's when I show you like a little beauty montage of just how good the system looks. But this is a pretty plain computer and there's like no RGB in here. In fact, the only RGB comes from the GeForce GTX logo here, which glows green, and you can't change it. It's just gonna glow green. So you're just gonna have to deal with a little bit of B-roll footage while I talk. Now there are a few things about the build-up challenge that I did want to remind you of so that you don't miss your chance to win the grand finale computer that we are going to be building once we have sold enough computers and we have come up with the total amount of money that we need to build the absolutely fantastic computer that's gonna be sitting on one of your desks. And that first thing is you do need to be a part of the PC Rehab Discord server. There is a link to join that server in the description down below. It is 100% free, but you're gonna need to make sure that you are a part of that server because I choose the winner from there. The second thing that you need to know is that at the end of every episode of the Build Up Challenge, we will go over the budget, how much money we've made, how much money we've spent on the computer, and we do a whole grand total so that you know exactly where we stand in building the grand finale PC. And the third thing that you need to know is that I'd love it if you subscribed because I work really hard to make this happen for you guys, and your support on the channel means everything to me. All right, now that we have all of that covered, let's see how the performance is from this system, and then we can kind of go over what I think we can sell it for. So I started out the gameplay testing with a little bit of Forza 5. The game's auto recommendation set the graphics down to low, but when I ran the benchmark, I was getting 88 FPS, so I bumped it up a bit to a medium preset, and we were getting a very respectable 64 FPS on average. I figured if this PC got those kind of frames in Forza 5, then we should have decent gameplay in Modern Warfare 2, and I was right because at a mixture of medium to low settings, we hit an average of 60 FPS on the dot. And just for fun, and I'm dead serious when I say just for fun, I wanted to test out the first Descendants on this PC, thinking that there was no way that this old system could run it, and I again was wrong. While the gameplay was not the smoothest thing in the world, it was in fact playable at low settings, getting an average of 52 FPS. A few small takeaways from that gameplay testing are that we used a 1080p monitor for all of our gameplay, and we didn't use a capture card to get all the footage of me testing out this system. We did screen record from this system, which uses up some of the computer's resources, so we may have even got more frames if we weren't screen recording to get that gameplay footage. So as far as the budget is concerned for the first episode of the Build Up Challenge, we are at $0 earned and $0 spent. And whenever this computer does sell, that will be our starting budget to continue the rest of this series. Now, as far as the list price for this computer right here, I'm gonna list it for $400. Now, before you freak out on me and say that there's no way this computer is worth $400, I agree with you. I understand that. That's the starting price. People will click on it, they'll negotiate me down, and maybe we'll get $320, $340 for this PC, which would be about the right price for the performance that we got from the system. And that will be the starting budget for the rest of the videos. Now for season 1, it did take us 22 PC flips in order to come up with the $4,300. I think it was a little bit more than $4,300 that we used to build the PC that we gave away to username Daddio in the Discord server. And by the way, he loves that computer. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. It was a 7800X3D and a 4080. I mean, that's a really good system. Plus it looked fantastic. And we're gonna have to one up that because you never wanna build a PC that's not as good as the last grand finale PC. So, sky's the limit. I don't know how much money we're gonna need to earn, but we're gonna need a lot of it. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. I don't think that there's anything else I need to say other than no matter where you are in the world, I hope that you are having the most fantastic day, and I'm gonna see you right here for the next video. Is this thing on? So today is actually the following day of the recording of the video that you just watched, and I'm actually in the process of editing that video footage right now, and in that process, someone reached out and wanted to buy the PC that you just watched get made, and they bought it for $380. So I'd say we did a pretty darn good job, and now we know the starting budget for the rest of the challenge. Thought you guys might want to know. See you soon.